When it comes to local ballots, Denver voters will consider 11 measures, and yes, that's on top of the 12 statewide issues. And each week here on Colorado Inside Out, we're talking about one measure that you are going to see on your ballot, either locally or statewide. And Luigi, let's talk about how DPS is asking Denverites to approve a $975 million bond for schools.
But wait, it's not a tax increase. That's the line from, I think, every school district that asks for a bond measure. It's not a tax increase. DPS, like any other school district, has big problems. It's in declining in enrollment. Think about that for a moment. Declining enrollment, they're asking for $1 billion. They want to use the money on a variety of things, including air conditioning, for example. For some of these schools, starting in the middle of summer has been difficult for children. But it is a big amount of money. And it's also true that the Denver voters have, I think, voted yes on all the bond measures the last, 3 decades or something like that. The thing that I think voters will see is you're exactly right. There's a bond measure for $1 billion. That's borrowing for $1 billion for schools. There's also two sales tax increases that's going to be on the ballot. And by the way, there's a sidewalk fee that's happening pretty soon. You're already starting to pay for garbage disposal and all kinds of fees. All of these things are all coming to a head at a time that the school district is asking for this money. I'll be really curious what's going to happen in November.
Yeah, Alvina.
Well, I just got done saying taxes aren't bad. They're there to help our infrastructure. Demographics are changing in Denver. Kids are aging out. I would encourage our viewers to go to the state demographer's website. It's very interesting to see the demographic changes within our state and how we're aging, and a lot of districts are facing that. But Denver voters pretty much trust that these dollars are going to be put to good use, and I think as long as Denver Public Schools continues to show that they can deliver, they'll probably approve it.
So it was a week after they said we're going to go forward with this bond measure that the superintendent said we're going to have to close schools. So.
And the schedule they're doing for closing the schools does not leave you a lot of time to really consider it. They're going to come up with the list on the 7th of November. They've got to vote 2 weeks later, which is a problem. The only people who make DPS communications look good is Aurora, because they're doing such a bad job. But Aurora has not been very open about a lot of their different processes, about the school closures, about these different issues. At least the school board is much settled down from where it was 2 years ago. You've got grown-ups in the room, but they still have some work to do, I think, to make people think they're giving money to the right thing. In 2020, we passed a bond measure. We thought we were getting the air conditioning, but as it turned out, a lot of the schools still didn't. So they're going to have to do a good job of communicating why they really need this now when enrollment is going down.
Yeah, it's so high. Yes.
One of the things that struck me about this whole thing was the average age of a school building in DPS is 55 years old. So let's think about that a little bit. That means a building that was basically constructed in the late 60s, early 70s. If you're in a house that's that old, you're thinking about all the upgrades and things that you need to do to make it livable, right? Those buildings were built at a time when there was really true investment in public infrastructure of all kind, whether it was schools, and any of the other things that goes along with that. And look at what's happened in the last 55 years. Our funding for education, our state's funding for education has abysmally bad. We're something, I don't know, in the low, 48, 49, 50, somewhere at the bottom of the barrel. And the time has come to pay the piper. The time has come to get these buildings back up to what they should be. Is $975 million the right answer for that? That will be up for the voters to decide.
Thanks for watching this ballot discussion. The Colorado Inside Out team will tackle one measure each week right up until Election Day. Don't miss an episode so that you are all set to vote on or before November 5th.